Okay, so we're solving equations here. I'm going to notice that I have these parentheses. I'm going to get rid of the parentheses. So I bring down the negative 10. I'm going to distribute the 2. So 2x minus 8 equals 6. All right. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. All right. I have a minus 10 and a minus 8. So I've got 2x. That would be negative 18 equals 6. Okay. And then now I'm going to get rid of the 18, so I'm going to add 18 to both sides. So I get 2x equals 24, divide by 2, and I get x equals 12. All right, so that is a very short interval of just 12. It starts at 12, it ends at 12. It includes 12, so I use the square brackets. Set notation, this is basically set notation right there. I'm just going to add the x such that x equals 12. And then on my number line, I would just go ahead and make a 12 and put it there. There's 12. Okay? So that's the graph, the set notation, and interval notation. And then the next one, I've got, again, it's an inequality, but I solve it using the properties doing the same thing. There's nothing to distribute, so I'm just going to do it 3x. I can combine, I've got a negative 4 and a positive 5, so that's a plus 1, is greater than x minus 1. I'll leave this on the same. I don't flip it or anything. So now I want to get rid of this x, so I'm going to minus x on both sides. So 3 minus 1 is 2x, plus 1 is greater than negative 1. Okay. And then now I'm going to get rid of this minus this 1 here. Get rid of the plus 1, so I get 2x is greater than negative 2. Right? And then now I'm going to get rid of the 2 by dividing both sides by 2. I do not flip it because I divided by a positive number. So I keep it the same and I get x is greater than negative 1. So on the graph, that means I've got a negative 1, and it's an open circle because it's greater than, there's no equal sign, and greater than is to the right. And that is also my set notation, right? I'm just going to go x such that x is greater than negative 1. Interval notation, it goes from negative 1 to positive infinity. I just add a comma. So negative 1 to positive infinity, and there I go. All right. Now, here I have an absolute value that I'm solving. So I'm going to have to first get the absolute value by itself. So I'll do that by subtracting 4 on both sides. So I get negative x plus 3, the absolute value of that equals negative 1. Okay? All I did was get rid of the positive 4. You have to get the absolute value by itself before you can get rid of the absolute value. So I've got a negative absolute value, so I'm going to divide by negative 1. So negative divided by negative is a positive. So I did not get rid of the absolute value. All I got rid of was that negative sign. So that's now equal to a positive number. Okay, x plus the absolute value is equal to a positive 1. Now I get rid of the absolute value by writing two equations. Okay, so what's inside, x plus 3 can equal negative 1, right? Or x plus 3 can equal positive 1. And either way, that the absolute value of it will be a positive 1 because the absolute value is a distance. So now I'm going to minus 3 on both sides. So I get x equals negative 4 is one of my solutions. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, solve them separately. And I get x equals negative 2. So those are two separate numbers. So I have negative 4 is one solution and negative 2 is the other solution. All right? And then set notation, I can say, okay, it's x's and x can equal, I'll make a list, x can equal negative 4 and negative 2. All right? And then graphing it, that would be, I've got a negative 4, negative 2, and that's a closed circle because those are my solutions. And then here I've got, again, an absolute value. So I need to get that by itself before I start writing my two separate equations. So I need to get rid of the minus 1, right? So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I get the absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to 13. Okay, now I want to get rid of the absolute value sign. So I set that what's inside equal to a negative 13, or what's inside can equal a positive 13. Okay, and then so now I'm going to just solve each of these separately. So I've got minus 3. So 2x equals negative 16 divided by 2, and x equals negative 8. And here, solve this equation. So 2x equals 10 divided by 2, and x equals 5. Okay, again, those are two separate numbers, so I have 8. Negative 8 is a solution, or positive 5 is a solution. All right, set notation. I've got x's, and my x's can equal negative 8, and they can equal 5. So you're just making a list. And then that would just be 2 points on a graph. So there's my negative 8, right? Closed circle. Positive 5, closed circle. All right, those are my solutions. If you have absolute value, you're going to have 2 answers. All right, 2 solutions. And there you go. That's this page. Now we'll stop that for a second, and you can work on the next page.